Human athlete, how are you? How are you here? How are you here? I'm feeling capped today. That's where I'm at in the world. I hope you are well today. Every morning before I get up, I gain my bearings. And for me, my framework is that I know that when my feet hit the floor, all bets are off. The day could go my way, the day could go some other way. I have no idea. I'm in control of closer to zero than I am 100. And so I hope that if you see similarly or differently, I hope you're managing your day well. I hope you are, I hope you're in a good space. This thing is clean. Performance on and off the field, right? For managing things, performance way up. Relationships. I mentioned that we would speak about those last time, and then I wanted to throw development in there. I feel like it's also very important as we manage all these things. You know, this is mostly from the coach's end of things today. But for me as a coach, I had two coaches when I was a kid who were absolutely awful. And to be quite honest, sorry. Um, and they are the prime example to me of how never to coach. And so really for me, I thought to myself, like, I want to be a coach that I wanted because I was a common kid. I wanted to be, coached. I wanted to be supported. I wanted to be promoted. Hey, great work. I wanted, I wanted a human being who knew what they were doing to coach me. And a lot of that goes into our name, human athlete, also. So relationships, I've studied and I've come to learn that there's a lot of things that we have in common that we may all list commonly, but there may also be some things that we don't list that we disagree on. And that alternate perspective is also incredibly important for my growth and my evolution, and hopefully yours too, right? Let's go through some of these really quickly. Some things that I feel are important. I studied that were important, and I want to share with you here at Human Athlete. So some of these are not going to be earth shattering, but authenticity, right, and vulnerabilities. We love meeting somebody who is truly authentic, right? They have a good grasp on themselves for who they are. Maybe they have a good mindset, growth mindset, or even if they have a fixed mindset, but they know who they are, and they come across in a dynamic way, right? But with authenticity from coaches to their players, their athletes, part of that authenticity comes from, right, being able to share your vulnerabilities, right? We are human, and therefore we all have vulnerabilities. In my 13 years of coaching middle to late adolescent athletes, that part of my relationship with them has been a steel pillar through the entire framework and belief system that I have with relationships to my athletes. Also, commonalities, right? These are things that we can kind of come up with, but the commonalities is huge. If there's ever a binding force, it is being able to share and discuss commonalities. Hey, I'm way older than you, but you know what? Dude, I'm all about superheroes. And I've been that way since I was a kid. But superheroes also drove me and were models for me that I didn't have. So when you look for certain things to aspire to or to learn from, those values and tenets that superheroes have were important to me as a kid, and thinking to myself, these are important things to have, and other things, whether it's food or whatever else, upbringing, your family, how you grew up, whatever it is. Those commonalities, that's the mortar and the bricks, right? Something new that you may have heard or may not have heard of, but of course, motivational interviewing. This came up in, I think, the mid 90s, if I remember correctly, and it was it originated from therapy and substance abuse, but there's a number of different strategies. Two I want to point out are the brief motivational interviewing and the group motivational interviewing. Group is pretty self-explanatory, right? And you can Google these, Google Scholar, and brief is more individual. Real quick, the reality here is that you are interviewing your athlete, right? So you're taking a step back mentally and not talking at them or to them. You are speaking with them and you are gaining information from them. Some people do this naturally, some people don't. My upbringing, there was not a thing. My efforts to sincerely make motivational interviewing part of who I am overall as a coach, but as a person as well. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. The motivational interviewing, specifically brief and group, you can read about those on Google Scholar. It's an easy lookup. Attachment styles. This is one that way on the periphery, maybe. But for me, it was originally, but now I'm constantly thinking about it. So when I'm talking to my athletes and I'm interviewing them, which now for me is it's interviewing, but it's more natural. I'm also kind of thinking, like, what's their attachment style, right? There's a few different attachment styles. There's the secure, there's a preoccupied anxious, there's a dismissive avoidant, and there's a fearful or disorganized. There's a great free test that you can take online if you're not sure what your attachment style is, and you can figure that out. I was secure, so whatever that means. But again, coaches, if you are familiar with the criteria in any one of those, it could just absolutely allow you to work and understand and converse and build a healthier relationship with your athletes. And again, all of this works, of course, for stakeholders and parents. I spend a ton of time talking to parents. I know a lot of coaches, and when they see a parent, they're out. Thanks for coming in today. I love relationships. Human athletes, please have a great day. Have a great rest of your week and going into your weekend. For my brothers and sisters who are in challenging times, again, I say to you, you're never far from my thoughts, ever. You're not. Human athlete. Can't be one without being both.
He wants this.